To start this week's video off, I thought I'd take a look at another rose. This is a David Austin rose called Chianti. Beautiful, deep, maroon mauve color. Very velvety, nice fragrance. And it's just really starting to bloom. It's a big bush. Lots of blooms opening up on it. But we're supposed to have some rain tomorrow, and I know what rain does to this thing, so I thought I would take a little footage of it today and include it in the update. Well, this is a red Weigelia, which is looking a little down this morning after yesterday's nice rainstorm, but it's in full bloom. It's just outside my kitchen door. Sort of grabs you by the pant leg when you try to get in, but it's very beautiful. It looks like it's going to be a great year for the wild blackberries. I've never seen anything quite like the blackberry blossoms. And this patch, I don't know, I never noticed it before. It's just really directly out in front of my house. I guess the canes have been developing over the years, but I've never picked blackberries here before. I'm looking forward to late August, September when they ripen. I should be able to get a lot of blackberries. To give you an idea how close it is to the front of my house. The gardens at the front of the house. Looks like a pile of green snakes, but I've harvested my garlic scapes. I'm going to have garlic scapes for dinner. Well, that's 8 garlic scapes, sliced up sort of into the length of small green beans, and I'm going to steam them in my bamboo steamer. Well, there we are. Baked potatoes, wild Pacific salmon, and garlic scapes. I've already tasted the garlic scapes, and I really do like them. Unfortunately, I guess it's going to be one meal a year. That's my entire crop on the plate, but they are very tasty. I'll start my garden update in the greenhouse again this week. I got thinking last week after I posted pictures of my tomato plants and told everybody how proud I was of them, that people in areas that are warmer than here, who've got these big bushy tomato plants growing, are probably wondering why I'm so proud of these skinny little plants. I'm growing them this way on purpose. I'm not allowing any side branching. So at every leaf axil where a sucker or a side branch tries to come out, I'm pruning that out of there. This way I'll only get 2 or 3 trusses of fruit on each plant, but a much better chance of them ripening. So that sort of explains why I've got these skinny looking plants, I guess. Still no blossoms on the tomatoes, but lots of blossom clusters, so by this time next week I will have blossoms in the greenhouse. And the greenhouse cucumber plants are doing very well. They just sort of held up by one string. I'm not doing as many strings for the cucumbers because any day now they will send out runners with those little tendrils, and they attach to the strings all by themselves. If it gets heavy with cucumbers, then I do some extra support, but really isn't necessary. They support themselves at this point. The red China eggplant is continuing to grow nicely. The one next to it that hasn't been doing very much at all has picked up. It's got some catching up to do, though, before it catches up to this one. I'm laying down on the ground in the greenhouse looking up at this ground cherry, which is doing very well, but I'm hoping you'll be able to see the blossoms. It's had a number of blossoms, and so has the one next to it. I also want to do next, when I go out to the regular vegetable garden, I want to do a little comparison and show you the difference in the size between the ones that are growing in the greenhouse and the ones that are outside in the regular garden. The focal length on this camera is so strange. I hope I'm not too close and that this isn't blurry. But this is what the ground cherries that are outside in the garden look like. And to give you a comparison to their size, I'll put my hand down there. I mean, they're not even, I don't know, not even a fifth or a sixth of the size of the ones in the greenhouse. But the amazing thing is, even at this size, they're in bloom. You can see a blossom down there or not. There's one blossom on that, and the other one's in this bed. are also in bloom. So evidently blooming is tied to the length of day or something rather than the size of the plant. But these plants are also increasing in size nicely since I started using the compost tea. They've picked up and they are growing, but they're totally different from the ones that are in the greenhouse. This is a shot of the same bed that has the ground cherries and the tomatoes in the background. Even the ones that I started from seed are starting to come along nicely. I see one of those is actually in bloom this morning, and the 3 plants that I bought from a greenhouse, 3 different varieties, all 3 of those are in bloom now. And out front in the bed are, along with the ground cherries, are the chili peppers, the cayenne chilies, and they're starting to get some size to them too. My container-grown potatoes are still doing very well. There are some leaves that have holes in them, being eaten by something. And it looked like they were going to bloom earlier this week. There were a number of blossom buds that looked to me like they were ready to open, and then they fell off. I don't know what that means for the production of potatoes, but anyway, the vines still look good. This is my attempt at keeping the crows out of the cucumbers and the newly planted peas in this bed, and I guess so far it has worked. Also, the cucumbers that were kind of yellow, and I was worried about losing them last week, I think the compost tea has really helped them. They're all perking up and are becoming fairly large plants. Should be ready to climb in a week or two. It's just a shot in under the row cover. You see the cucumber plants that are looking much better, much darker green and lots of new growth. This is a large bed of squash and pumpkins, which is beginning to fill in nicely. The larger the plants get, the faster they grow. They have more leaf surface to turn into energy for growth. Over the past week, I've seen quite a bit of change in this bed. Of all the tomato plants that I've got growing, the ones I'm most pleased with are the ones that I planted in pure compost out of my own compost pile in these large pots. They're doing very well. Very healthy, sturdy, stocky-looking plants with no blossoms on them yet, but a lot of blossom buds ready to start blooming. The benefit, I guess, of compost, from what I've been reading anyway, is that it has a lot of calcium, and that prevents blossom end rot. Well, also, these plants are the darkest green, the healthiest, and the largest stems of any of the ones that I've got growing. The bed of brassicas are doing very well, really starting to grow. I think the compost tea gave them quite a little boost as well. This bed has the outside row of miniature carrots. They are starting to grow better. I can see them, but and the ones that I reseeded, I see where some of those are coming up. The beets are doing very well. And the lettuce that I was concerned about is starting to fill out. It is getting bigger, so I guess it's enjoying the compost tea. Yesterday I watered with compost tea, and this particular cell with 4 fennel plants in it were doing fine, and all of a sudden one of the plants just wilted yesterday afternoon. It's still not looking too healthy this morning. In the cell in the background there, I was at Canada Green in St. George the other day to buy a plum tree, and they had a special on asparagus. I've never had asparagus, so I bought one asparagus plant, Mary Washington, and I put it in the cell where there was supposed to be calendula growing. There's a couple of small calendula plants, but I finally started a crop of calendula. A crop of asparagus. If you can see behind the garlic, what I'm here to show off on this bed is the peas. They are doing very well. The tallest ones, so far anyway, are the blue potted, and they're getting close to 4 feet tall. Still no blossoms. The tall telephones in the far 2 cells here are almost as tall, but they're being outrun by the blue potted peas at this point. Well, I guess that finishes up for this week. I'm out of time.